Hey everyone, Chad, your friendly Kenosha Realtor here. Whether you're downsizing, upsizing, or just selling because you're tired of your house, selling can be a bit overwhelming. So before you put my for sale sign in your yard, I have 10 things that you need to know before you sell your house. So let's go ahead and get into them. The first thing you must know is it a buyer's or is it a seller's market? So in a seller's market, there's not enough inventory and too many buyers. So houses are selling really quick and for more money than they're listed for. That's what we've been in for the last three, 3.5, going on 4 years. We're still technically in a seller's market here in Kenosha. There's parts of the country where they've gone to a buyer's market, like Florida, Arizona, parts of California. But here in Kenosha, we're still very much in the seller's market. We don't have enough inventory, and we have too many buyers. It's kind of cooling off, but we're still very much in the seller's market right now. So that's the first thing you need to know. Are we in a seller's market or a buyer's market? In a buyer's market, it's the complete opposite of a seller's market. There's too much inventory and not enough buyers. So in the buyer's market, we tend to see the price of homes come down and higher days on market. You can tell what kind of market you are in yourself by looking on Zillow, Realtor.com, and just seeing what houses are selling for. If they're selling for at asking price, above asking price, below asking price, and how many days on the market they're sitting for. They're sitting on the market for. Are they sitting for 1 or 2 days on the market? Are they sitting for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 90 days, 120 days, or more? That'll tell you what kind of market that you're in. Average days on market, in an even market, you're looking at 60 to 90 days on market. In a strong seller's market like we're seeing here in Kenosha, and the average days on market is like a week or less. Um, in a really strong buyer's market, you're looking at 90 to 120 to maybe 200 days on market. That's a really strong buyer's market that we haven't seen since like 2008. But we're really far away from a really strong buyer's market. We're still in a really strong seller's market. But you can do a lot of this research yourself. But if you want to know what kind of market we're in right now and where we're heading to, come talk to me. Shoot me a text or give me a call. I'd be happy to tell you what kind of market we're in right now and where I think we're heading to and where all the experts say we're heading to. I follow all these trends really closely. I read all the articles. I listen to all the so-called experts. And sometimes I get it right. A lot of times I get it wrong. But I have a lot of the knowledge and the stories, and I know what kind of market we're in and where we're going to. So if you don't want to do the research yourself, you just want to have a conversation about what kind of market we're in, get in contact with me. I'd be happy to have a conversation about it. Even if you're not looking to sell, you just want to know what kind of housing market we're in. I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Step number 2 is studying the right price. Now, studying the right price is a science. It's not just picking a price out of the thin air. It's not going by what your neighbor's house sold for, or the house down the street, or the house a few blocks over. It is an actual science. You want to go by the comps. You want to go by what houses in the area sold for, what they're listed for. You don't want to set it too high, because if you set it too high, the buyer just overlook your house, and your house just sits on the market and collects days on the market, and it just doesn't sell. And then you get mad at your realtor, at me, at whoever's selling your house, and it just never sells. If you set the list price too low, then you're just leaving money on the table, and nobody wants to leave money on the table. So you definitely don't want to set it too low. A common mistake that a lot of buyers have is that they want to price their house high and expect buyers to write them an offer, and then they'll come down to that offer. They'll start the negotiations there, with an offer that's a low ball offer, and they'll come down, or they'll start off with a high price and maybe lower the price after a week or 2 or 3 or 4. That's a really old school way of thinking. It just doesn't work with today's buyers in today's market. You want to start off with a reasonable price, with maybe even a price that's a little bit lower than what houses are selling for right now, just to attract those buyers and make them think that it's a value, to make them think that's a good value, a good proposition for them, so that they want to come and buy your house, to come look at it, so they're not skipping it over, thinking that it's overpriced, that it's not for them. You don't want to price it too high because then it just sits on the market. Keep in mind that the more days on market that your house collects, it gives the buyers the impression that there may be something wrong with the house. Put yourselves in the buyer's shoes. You know, if the house has been sitting in the market for, let's say, 4 or 5 weeks, what are you thinking? You know, is there something wrong with this house? Why are there no offers on it? Why isn't that sold yet? Is there something wrong with it? Is the roof leaking? Is there something wrong with the foundation? Is it laid out weird? Has it got funny colored tile? Is the bathroom pink? Is the bedroom a weird blue color? I don't know. Buyers are picky sometimes. So you don't want to collect a lot of days on market if you don't have to. So you don't want to price it too high and have a lot of buyers just passing over your house. The first 2 to 3 weeks on market is the most important. That's when you're going to have the most buyers looking at your house. That's when you're going to start to get offers. Those first 2 to 3 weeks, those first 21 days, if you haven't received any offers in those first 21 days, then you are most likely overpriced. You definitely need to make a price correction and drop that price. Because if you haven't received any offers in those first 21 days, then even if buyers aren't leaving feedback and telling you so, you're overpriced for whatever reason. By how much? I don't know. You'd have to talk to your realtor and see what their opinion is. They'd have to pull some comps and see what houses are selling for in the area. But you definitely want to drop your price if your house hasn't sold in those first 3 weeks. And on the extreme opposite end of the spectrum, if you price it way too low, then you'll get an at asking price offer. And it's really hard to come back to a buyer and ask them for more money when they're offering you asking price. So you don't want to price it too low and just leave money on the table when you know that you could have sold it for more money. So if you need help with pricing your house, come talk to me. I help sellers price their houses all the time. So I've gotten really good at this. I've gotten pretty good at pricing houses at right where they should be priced at so that they sell at asking or a lot of times above asking. So if you need help pricing your house for market, I'd love to help you. I'd love to help be your listing agent and help you get that house sold for the most money possible. Number 3 is boost curb appeal. So the outside of your house is the first thing that buyers see when they pull up. Before they even step foot into your house, they see the outside of your house. So on picture day, the outside of your house might have looked absolutely stunning because most sellers, they mow the grass, they freshly trim those hedges, they landscape their house, they may put down fresh mulch or whatever. But as the house sits in the market for 3, 4, 5, 7 days, however long it may be, they tend to forget about stuff like that. If it's in the wintertime, maybe it snowed and they forget to shovel the sidewalk. Something you don't want to forget to do. Make sure you shovel those sidewalks. Put salt down too. But you want to make sure that you take care of that curb appeal. Something as simple as like planting some flowers outside. If it's wintertime, put some decorations outside. If it's around Christmas time, put some Christmas decorations out. If it's not the holidays, put some winter decorations out. Put some fall decorations out. Just something to boost the curb appeal of your house. Make it look prettier, make it stand out from the neighbor's house. Make it more appealing to those buyers. Make it so that when they walk up to your house, they're like, this house from the outside looks really beautiful. This is the kind of house that I can see myself in. Maybe I wouldn't decorate with these decorations, but this house is really stunning from the outside. I can't wait to see the inside of it. Now let's go inside and see the rest of this house because it's already impressing me from the outside. Some things that you can do to help freshen up the outside of your house is a fresh coat of paint. If you have like a vinyl siding or steel siding, just power wash the outside of it. Outdoor lighting is a big thing, especially if it gets dark early outside and you have evening showings. Like here in Wisconsin, it gets dark at 5 o'clock in the evening as we get into the fall and winter time. Make sure you have lighting on the outside. You don't want the listing agent to be fumbling with those keys that get inside the house and not being able to see. And you want buyers to be able to see the outside of your house. So make sure you have lighting on the outside of your house, like floodlights on the garage, maybe some lights in the backyard so they can see the backyard if it's evening time when they're looking at your house. Lots of lighting on the outside of your house so they can see it if they're looking at it in the evening time after work. Another really cheap fix that you can do is just polish the hardware on the outside, like the doorknobs. Just get some I don't know, 509 or Pledge cleaner and polish the doorknobs, make them bright and shiny again. If they're really old and rusty maybe, or really unpolished, maybe switch them out for some fresh new ones that are bright and shiny and look really nice, new and updated. Update the numbers on your house. So we all have the numbers on our house, the house numbers. If they're old and dingy and really dirty and they can't be clean, maybe replace those. The mailbox. If it's old and cracked, like the mailbox on our house, that needs to be replaced because it's old and falling apart, maybe replace that. Get a new mailbox, a fresh one that looks really nice and clean. Replace that mailbox. They're not super expensive and they're not super hard to install yourself. And like I said before, make sure that the driveway and the walkways are clean and free of debris. If it's wintertime, make sure that you shovel those walkways of snow and ice. Make sure they're always clear of snow and ice so that the buyers aren't slipping in and sliding on the snow and ice. Number 4, declutter and depersonalize. So this one may sting a little bit, but hear me out. Buyers need to be able to see themselves in your house when they walk through it. So you got to put yourself in the buyer's shoes. When they're walking through your house, they need to be able to see their couch where your furniture is. So obviously when they buy your house, they're not buying your furniture. They're not buying your coffee pot. They're not buying your toaster. They're not buying all of your stuff with your house. They're going to bring their stuff into your house. They're not buying your pictures. They're not buying all of your memories. They're not buying any of that stuff. They're bringing their stuff into your house. It's going to be their house soon. So they need to be, excuse me, they need to be able to envision their stuff in their soon to be their house. So you have your sectional in this corner over here. Maybe they like their sectional over here in this corner. So if you're still living in the house, that's okay. Keep your furniture where it is. But maybe just arrange it in a way that makes the room look bigger and brighter. We'll get to that step in a little bit. The buyers need to be able to see their stuff in your house. Try and take pictures off the wall. Obviously, if you're still living there, keep it homey still. But try and take as many pictures off the walls as you can, just so that buyers, when they're walking through, they can envision their own pictures on the wall. The counters are very important. They want to be able to see how much counter space there is, so they can envision their own stuff on the counters. They can envision their own holidays there, how much counter space they have for their own stuff. So, of course, when you're waking up in the morning, make your coffee, have your coffee pot out, have your toaster out there, put your bananas on the counter and stuff like that. But when you're cleaning up for showings, if you have a showing that afternoon or whatever, try and put that stuff in a cabinet. The lower cabinets, maybe an upper cabinet, wherever you have room for it. Just try and hide it away somewhere that's keeping the counters nice and clear and empty for buyers to look at. And speaking of counters, bathrooms are an important spot too. Make sure you keep the bathrooms nice and clear. Put away your toothbrushes, your toothpaste, and anything else that you may keep on the counters. Hand soap is okay because they want to see that you're clean people, obviously. Hand towels are okay. That kind of stuff are okay. But everything else, hair dryers, hair straighteners, try and put all that stuff away in a cabinet somewhere. Tip number 5 is staging your home. So whether you go all out with a professional stager and they bring in their own furniture and stage your house, like my in-laws did when they sold their house in Libertyville, or you just rearrange your own furniture and make your space look bigger and more inviting, that's perfectly fine too. Whatever you do, you want to stage your house and just make it look more inviting to buyers. If you stage it yourself, just go out and get some fresh flowers. Just make it look more inviting, more fresh and open. Make it look more airy. You don't necessarily need like all those plugins and smells throughout the house. Just make the house look better and more inviting. Rearrange the furniture. If you have smaller rooms, try and arrange the furniture so that the room looks bigger. Put flowers throughout the room so that it looks brighter. If you have dark curtains, if you have like those blackout curtains in your bedrooms, when you leave for showings, make sure you open those so that the rooms are nice and bright when buyers come through and look at those rooms. If you can, turn on all the lights before you leave for showings because buyers like to see light throughout the house. So the brighter the rooms are, the brighter the house is, the better that the house shows. If you need tips on staging, my wife Aalia and I, we're happy to come through and help show you, give you some tips on staging. If you like professionals to come through and give you some tips or use their own furniture for staging, we have contacts for that as well. Just let us know how we can help. We'd be more than happy to help you out with that kind of stuff. Tip number 6, make some necessary repairs throughout the house. Don't turn buyers off with silly little repairs throughout the house. So if you have a leaky faucet in your bathroom or your kitchen, or say the laundry tub in the basement, get it fixed. If you have a pipe that's leaking under the sink and you can hear it leaking or you can see it leaking, some buyers are nosy and they open up cabinets when they're looking through houses because they want to look for leaks when they're looking through houses. Just get it fixed. Those fixes aren't very expensive and they save you a headache when you're going through the selling process. Because most buyers are going to ask for a home inspection, and the home inspector will find those kind of things and they will flag them. And most buyers will ask for those things to be fixed anyway during the whole buying process. So either way, you're probably gonna have to fix it, whether it's before you sell or while it's during the buying process. So you might as well just fix it before you even hit the market. Just get it done beforehand. If you have chipped paint throughout the house, just go ahead and freshen up that paint real quick. It just helps the house show better. That kind of stuff buyers won't ask for in an inspection, but it just helps the house show better. It makes buyers warm and fuzzy, makes them love the house a little bit more. Loose railings are a big thing that come up on home inspections. So if you have stairs or loose railings that go up and down stairs, or an outside railing like a deck that's loose, just add a couple of screws and tighten it up. Little things like that, they're cheap fixes, they're quick fixes. Again, if you need help with that kind of stuff, just ask me to come over. I'll walk through your house with you. I'll point stuff out like this. I'll offer suggestions. I can even help you out with some of this stuff. I'm not very handy, but some of this simple stuff I can help you out with. And I have lots of contacts, lots of contractors. A lot of them are busy, but they can make time for little simple stuff like this. So let me know. I'd be happy to help you out. Tip number 7, work with a great real estate agent. Now, I may be a little bit biased here, but working with a great real estate agent, can make the process so much smoother. An experienced agent knows the market and how to price your house and how to get it sold fast and for the most amount of money possible. Here's where I come in. An experienced agent makes it so much easier for you. While you're working a full-time job, I'm behind the scenes doing all the things that you never even think about doing while you're selling your house. So I negotiate for you. When a buyer comes in with an offer, I help you negotiate. I negotiate the terms of the deal. I negotiate the price. If you decide to offer a buyer's compensation to pay for their agent, I help you negotiate that. I advise you on all the terms. I advise you on whether or not this is a good deal or not. I advise you on the send a counter offer. I advise you on all that stuff. I help you with everything. I walk you through the contracts. Contracts are very long. They're very confusing. But I look through these all the time, so I help you with everything. I keep track of all the dates and deadlines. Dates and deadlines are very important. The seller doesn't usually have a lot of dates and deadlines, but the buyer does. And if the buyer misses any of these dates and deadlines, you could potentially kill a deal. Especially if you happen to get a backup offer that's better than the first offer, you may want to kill that first deal and take that backup offer. So you never know what could happen. So you want to keep track of these dates and deadlines because you never know what could happen. I set up closing and any other thing that you may need during the transaction around your schedule. So any inspections, closing, and anything else that the buyer may need, I help set that up around your schedule. So if you are going to be home and the buyer wants to do an inspection, but it's not convenient for you, I let them know. That won't work for the seller. You need to set up for a different time. I make it as easy as possible for my sellers. I'm also your central point of contact for the whole transaction. So I'm the only person that you need to talk to. And I check in with my sellers at least once a week to see how things are going. At least once a week. Usually I talk to my sellers multiple times a week. Now, that's not always true. If you're also buying a house while selling, you'll also need to talk to your lender. But generally, I'm your main point of contact. I'm the person that that coordinates everything. Even if you are buying a house, I'm still your main point of contact because I'll also coordinate everything with your lender. Make sure that the buying process is going well as well. And make sure that you're not missing any of your dates and deadlines on the buying contract, on the buying side as well. So if you're buying and selling, I'm still your main point of contact, and I handle everything, all the behind the scenes parts of everything. I handle it all for you. Make it nice and easy and smooth, and as little of a headache for you as possible. Plus, I check to make sure that the buyer's on track for closing. Buyers, things happen. Sometimes they lose their job, sometimes financing falls through. But I check in with the buyer at least once a week to make sure that everything's still on track and going smoothly. Plus, there's about 100 plus other things that go on behind the scenes that I don't have time on this video to go through everything. There's a lot of things that I do behind the scenes to help my sellers and buyers out with. If you'd like to talk about it more, I'd be happy. Just give me a call or shoot me a text and we can talk more about it. But moving on to step number 8 to selling your house is marketing your house effectively. So there's more than just putting your house in the MLS and putting a sign in the yard. You have to actually market your house. So how do you market your house? Well, there's a lot of different ways to market your house. If you're a for sale by owner, usually you just put a sign in the yard. You may put it on a couple of for sale by owner websites, and you just kind of sit back, hope, and pray. If you are a typical real estate agent, you put in the MLS, you let buyer's agents bring buyers through the house, and you kind of sit back and you hope and you pray for an offer to come in. If you're me and Aalia, we actively market your house. So what do? First, we take professional pictures, which a lot of real estate agents do. That's nothing new. That's what a lot of agents do. We don't use an iPhone 7 though. We take professional real estate pictures to make sure that your house looks the best. We put in the MLS, obviously. We do a video walkthrough tour so that people can get a good feel for your house before they even come and take a look at your house in person. They can get a good feel for the layout of the house, make sure that it works for them. We put that video walkthrough tour on YouTube, Facebook, and any other social media platforms that we can think of. We share that with you so that you can share it to all your family and friends and see if they have any buyers that may want to buy your house. We pay for Facebook and Google Ads advertising on Facebook and Google Ads, so your house gets in front of thousands of people, thousands of potential buyers. And we also have buyer's agents that bring buyers through your house. And we also do open houses. Open houses don't typically sell houses, but they do sell houses every now and then. So we do like to do open houses. I'll be honest, we don't do them every single weekend, but we do like to do one at least the first weekend that hits the market. And then we'll probably do one every other weekend after that. We try not to do one every single weekend just because we don't want to put you out of your house every single weekend, but probably every other weekend if it hasn't sold already. But we do a lot of advertising ourselves, spending our own money to advertise your house to try and get it sold as quickly as possible and for as much money as possible. So who you hire to sell your house does matter. It helps get it sold as quickly as possible. If you'd like to know more about our advertising techniques and what we do, give me a call or shoot me a text. I'd be happy to discuss it with you. The number 9 thing to know before selling your house are showings. So showings are a very important thing to selling your house. Obviously, a buyer needs to see your house in person before they buy your house. Well, most of the time. There's that rare time where a buyer will buy your house sight unseen. But most of the time, 9.9 times out of 10, a buyer will want to see your house in person before they'll buy it. So you have to have flexibility with showings. Now, obviously, you're not going to want to allow a buyer through your house at 9 o'clock at night. But, a good buyer's agent will tell their buyer, no, I'm not going to show you a house at 9 o'clock at night. We have to reschedule for a different date at a more reasonable time. But, you have to have some flexibility with showings too as a seller. If you worked in the day away from home, from let's say 9 to 5, that is a great time for showings. That should be an open availability time for showings. Allow anybody that wants to come see the house into the house during those times from 9 to 5 during the day. Now, the best time for showings obviously are evenings and weekends because that's when most buyers want to see the house. So try to be as flexible as you can on evenings and weekends. I understand that a lot of sellers, they have family time, they have obligations, they have stuff that they do on the evenings and weekends. They can't always accommodate every showing, every weekend, and every evening. But I try to tell my sellers to do the best that you can. I totally understand if something comes up where you have to be home for whatever reason and you have to decline a showing for something. If that happens, just let me know and we will ask that buyer to reschedule. But showings are a very important part of selling your house, and you have to try and be as accommodating as possible. On that note, when the showing does happen, you have to make sure that your house is showing ready. So try and turn on all the lights, make sure that those counters are clear, make sure your floors are swept, the carpets are vacuumed, make sure that the house is clear of clutter. If you have kids, all the toys are picked up. If you have pets, the pets are either taken with you or put in a kennel. Just make sure that the house is good to go and show ready. And the buyers are going to love it when they come in and look at it. Number 10, the last thing that you need to know when you're selling your house is you need to understand closing costs. So obviously as a seller, there are closing costs involved with selling your house. You need to know what some of those are. I'm going to do a whole video about closing costs for both buyers and sellers. But here's a quick rundown on some of the things that you're going to have as a seller. So obviously, if you still owe on your house, you're going to have to have that pay off. If there's any liens on your house, you're going to have to pay those off first. After the payoff of your house, title company fees, you have to pay those. Taxes from the time that you lived in their house for that year, you have to pay those. Realtor fees, so the realtor that helped you sell the house, you have to pay those realtor fees. And the realtor fees, if you chose to pay the buyer realtor fees, you have to pay those fees as well. You don't have to pay those fees if you chose not to pay the buyer's realtor. Those are just some of the closing costs that you may have to pay at closing. That's not a comprehensive list. Like I said, I will have a video at a later date of a more comprehensive list of closing costs for buyers and sellers. So there you have it. 10 things you should know before selling your house. I hope that you found this video informative. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Hit that subscribe button if you want YouTube to do its thing and let you know when I drop new videos at least twice a week. I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. If you're thinking about selling and have any questions at all, please go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. All of my contact information is down below in the information section of this video. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have and help you out in any way that I can. And I can help you get the most out of the sale of your home. Until next time, happy home selling, and I'll see you in the next video.